Why are women and girls so mean to each other? I mean, look at the media. Poor Jessica Simpson, they crucified her. What is going on there? And what do we need to do to change this?
So part of it is primal, and part of it is societal. So when you back up to primal instincts, women are trying to attract the most suitable mate. When you boil us down, I mean, we're just a bunch of DNA that's trying to reproduce itself. That's it. Okay. So in order to be more attractive to other potential mates, it's important that the other ones don't look quite as good as you from a primal standpoint. All right, so that's sad. That's the primal side. On the societal side, I think that these women don't have enough sense of self. So it's easier to step on the back of somebody else than it is to just raise yourself up on your own. And
it's also, though, I think a philosophy in our society of life being a zero-sum game. So if you win, that means I'm losing. Yeah. If you get the guy, or you've got the great job, or you get the book published, then I'm losing. Yeah. And we foster that because when somebody acts in a not nice way, it sells.
Yeah. Part of it's also that competition comparison thing, that we feel like we're comparing ourselves to other women differently. We wouldn't compare ourselves to men's accomplishments, but to women's. And again, if they're getting the goods in one area or another, there's less for us. So there is a bit of that competition. Whereas I think we're moving into more of an era of collaboration, or at least that's what I would hope for.
Young people are being raised in this culture where there's 24-hour entertainment cycles, and if it's okay and acceptable amongst their peers to just treat each other like crap, like, how are we going to stop this?
But it's not just on TV, it's people gossiping among each other. It's what's going on in our lives, our daily lives, not just in the media. One reflects the other, but it's both.
Sure. Well, to your point, the media fuels all of this to come back on itself. So yeah, it's a constant barrage. So what do we do? Yeah. I think you stop the media, right?
Or you make your own personal choices about what you do.
Or you start in grade school or in preschool with children, and what do we reward and value? We reward kindness. We don't, reward if somebody is bullying. Now, thank goodness that they're starting to pay attention to bullying. Yeah. Because I think this all goes along with it. And so I think that we need to slow down a little bit and take some time at a young age talking about, the values.
I think a lot of this also comes down to the inherent anonymity that technology brings us.
Yes, sir.
So when you have an arm's length emotional tie to your fellow man, fellow woman, it makes it easier to not even care. So people say things on Facebook or in news groups that they would never say to somebody's face. Yeah. Why? Because they don't care.
How much of this is, now that women are competitive with each other in this way, this is a way that women sort of make it okay. Women who put each other down. I mean, I was at my son's preschool the other day and I was watching two little girls argue, and the two little girls were arguing, the two little boys were arguing, they were arguing over a toy. I want the block, I want the block. And the two little girls were arguing and she said, I don't like her. And it was very different. Right. Yeah.
But again, it's up to the parents to
So it comes down to parents.
Bring the value back. And, as you were all saying, that, they're all looking around, seeing how they can stand out. And then if their kids are getting that from them,
Yeah.
And it's also, kind of to backtrack a little bit, as the women going into the working world, it brings back that masculine feminine energy, right?
Sure.
So, the woman is, that's very male, to be competitive, to really stand out. And so the women are getting a taste of that, and they're not being as collaborative, they're not being as supportive because they're not in their feminine. So I like your idea of, supporting each other, complimenting each other. It's got to start somewhere and then trickle out.
When it comes to society, though, I think that there's three things that are missing. So how do we solve this? In order to solve it, you have to instill three things back into the world, and that's compassion, gratitude, and empathy. And those three things are missing in so many different ways from every type of relationship. People just don't listen anymore. They only advocate their view. They don't hear, they wait for their turn to speak. They don't put themselves in somebody else's position. They only care about their own.
And those three qualities are often put under the feminine category, not the masculine category.
Right.
So they may not be as valued as they need to be, and as hopefully they'll be starting to be.
You just innately feel better when you're giving to somebody else rather than putting them, at a distance and blocking them. And again, for the women who are constantly looking at other women and comparing and being mean to them. It has a lot to do with society, again, because they were taught way back when, hundreds of years ago, that their value was based on their looks, their sexual attraction to men. You know, they would be chosen based on those things. So they're looking at how do they compare. You know, it's a scarcity mentality, you know, that there's not enough to go around. And it really blocks the connection that we're all here to embrace.
So it sounds like to get over this mean girl phenomenon, we're all going to have to take a really strong look on the inside, figure out what this is all about for ourselves, and start being compassionate with the people that we know and love.